What is up, everybody? Today's the weekly outlook for August 17th to August 21st. And in this video, I'm going to be going over, right, the setups I'm looking at coming into this week of trading, right? So there are certain setups that do look really good in the higher time frame, and then the rest of the names are just consolidation. So you have to be more cautious playing those names because, you know, we're trying to play with the trend, we're trying to play with that relative strength or relative weakness, right? So, yeah, I'm going to be going over the top 3 setups I see coming into this week, and I'm going to say it's kind of straight up right now, right? Like this week, it's a little bit harder to find those names just because the way we closed kind of on Friday. So the names, a lot of these names in the higher time frame don't look good, but there are some that do look good. I'll be going over those 3 names specifically, right? So yeah, earnings wise this week, nothing anything crazy. Nothing anything crazy, right? Literally just like names that won't really do anything for the market, to be honest, right? News as well, I'm gonna be honest, nothing anything crazy as well. So no news is crazy, no earnings are crazy. So this week should be a simpler week to kind of dissect, right? Monday and Tuesday and Friday, no news at all, but Wednesday is rough older news. So that Wednesday we should expect some volatility, especially in that pre-market. But yeah, so what setups am I looking at coming into this market? So I'm gonna be going over kind of 3 setups. So number 1 is going to be AMD, right? So AMD does look extremely choppy on the higher time frame, right? We can clearly see there's a big area consolidation, but now the AMD's reclaiming this 500, right? With strength, and also there is a certain sector that's also showing relative strength, which I'll talk about. This name does have that momentum for potentially that all-time highs move. So I'm going to keep it on AMD just because all the other names that I usually trade, right, tech, are just so look horrible in the higher time frame, right? Maybe on Monday if we gap up or show some sort of strong price action, maybe QQ gaps up because QQ should be pushing all-time highs with SPY already at all-time highs. So I'm just be talking about names that do look good. So AMD, right? I'm gonna keep an eye on this name. So what I want to see on AMD is simply just a breaking just of that previously high level. So we're gonna mark out previously high level, right? It's gonna be this level right here. I'm pretty sure, right? Let me check. Yeah, so that level right here, we just want to see us hold or hold above that. And then in the most normal scenario, we just want to see a retest of the zone. And then we just want to see bullish price action leading to the upside, right? And then we're target that higher time frame liquidity, right? So what is higher time frame liquidity here, right? So that's probably one of the most important things you can like learn in the next 5 seconds, right? Higher time frame liquidity, right? We're gonna mark out this 592. This 529.92, which is pretty much 530. Okay, so 530 is gonna be that next area of liquidity. I'm gonna target AMD. So that main objective I'm gonna see on AMD getting met is gonna be at 530 on AMD. So that's what I'm gonna be looking at coming into this week. Let's see if the relative strength kind of shows up intraday, because you know we want to see that relative strength intraday, right? So we want to see it's kind of breaking above 5 range high, our pre-market high, our previously high level, and showing bullish price action. So yeah, AMD is gonna be one of the main watches I'm gonna be looking at coming into this week, right? This name does look pretty good. And now let's talk about some other names, other sectors. So I mean, the most strongest sector we see come into this market, right, is going to be MU and SNDK, which is that memory sector, right? So we're clearly showing a strong kind of shift from these lows, kind of strong bounce, and now we're kind of breaking back into that 1,000 key level territory. So again, on MU, I want to see us kind of show relative strength, and same exact kind of setup on those with AMD. So what we want to see is this, and then we want to try the hard time liquidity, right? So on MU, right, keep it on the sectors because there's hard time for momentum, right? We expect this name to kind of catch up because SNDK has been moving very nicely as well. So keep it on MU, keep it on SNDK because those names are showing strong price action, right? It's kind of these plays are the easy plays, right? We kind of know that they're showing strength, right? We clearly are seeing that we're breaking out of this strong area consolidation, right? If you're gonna mark as area consolidation, right? Strong area consolidation, right? Like, let me zoom out this, right? Strong area consolidation. So like these names, guys, like are looking good, but again, it's gonna be a little bit trickier to get a trade in unless you kind of have that higher time frame thesis. So yeah, so SNDK now, let's go to SNDK again. This name, right, let me remove this, right? This name again, this name actually even looks better than MU, to be honest, right? Look, it has more momentum, right? Stronger buyers dipping in, especially on this day. So again, this name should be on top watch, right? That next area of liquidity we want to see get swept is going to be this area up here. So this area up here is going to be the next TP. So what we want to see coming into this week, we want to see a break and retest of the zone. We want to see strong buyers step up here, and then we just want to see continuation of that trend, right? We're literally just playing the easiest kind of trades, right? For me, I'm trading a trickier strategy, right? I'm trading intraday price action for these trades, but if you're trading swings, right, then like it's like the most obvious kind of setup here, right? You know when you're wrong, you know when you're right, right? And like there's clearly an easy trend coming into this week. So, you know, I know a lot of servers that trade like swings and stuff are looking at SNDK. It's a very, very obvious kind of play. And yeah, those are the 3 watches that come into this week for the higher time frame, right? The reason why I didn't go over the normal names I usually talk about is because they don't look good, right? If I go over Tesla, right, it is a little bit choppier, but again, Like especially with this big wick, what do you want to see now? Like it's just gonna be a little bit harder to trade this name, right? Again, it's still bullish market structure. So again, if we do kind of see a gap above our previously high level, then we can still play this name above 350. So again, Tesla above 350 is going to be what we want to watch. If we can kind of break above 350 coming into this week, then I can look to play that Tesla above 350, right? So you simply just want to see a break retest above that 350. So Tesla again, we can't keep an eye on above Tesla because we did show that strong bounce at that 300 level, and we're clearly basing higher highs and higher lows above now, right? So Tesla we can't keep an eye on above, right? Another name we can't keep it on for, right? But a little bit more situational is going to be Nvidia, right? Nvidia above this 227.40, I'm going to keep an eye on for, right? Clearly, we're clearly showing strong kind of sellers at this level, so we can break above, show strong price action. Then this name does look good for that all-time highs move, right? So all-time highs move, we can see these areas of liquidity getting filled in the higher time frame. So again, Nvidia is also on watch as well. I'm going to be honest, like this actually looks way better than I thought it did. Like I'm looking at it now, and this actually looks pretty good. So Nvidia above 227. Actually, let me get the exact level, right? Nvidia above. Yeah, so Nvidia above our previously high level. Literally above Nvidia above our previously high level looks pretty good, to be honest, right? Let me actually go back and see what areas of liquidity we want to see swept. So yeah, so that's why this low was there. So yeah, this is pretty choppy, right? So yeah, next area is gonna be this, and then we do have that gap all the way up to that too. Okay, so yeah, so on Nvidia, right, there's actually a pretty big kind of area that needs to be filled. So ideally, what you want to see coming this week on Nvidia is gonna be this. We want to see kind of we want to see something like this where we kind of break. Why is it not clicking? We want to see kind of where we break above that area, that level, that zone. We want to see a retest strong bar step at that previously high level plus that higher time frame level, and then we want to target that 332 30, right? That's literally what you want to see on Nvidia coming this week, right? And that's honestly, if we get that bull scenario, that's honestly what I expect on Nvidia, right? Like we do kind of see this higher time frame does look pretty decent on Nvidia if we can break above that zone. So again, Nvidia's gonna be on watch. So Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, SNDK, and MU are gonna be on my main watch, right? Otherwise, everything else I'm just gonna skim over, but I'm not gonna talk about specific levels and stuff. Like I'm just gonna skim over because this video's gonna be too long, right? But let's go over Amazon, right? Yeah, that's just trash, right? Straight trash. Apple, trash, right? Microsoft, right? This name, again, you have to be a little more selective. So I would not play calls on Microsoft until we at least reclaim that 500 key level, right? So do not look to play Microsoft until we're above that 500 key psychological level. And yeah, I wouldn't play Microsoft. What's another name we can look at? That's gonna be it, bro. I'm not gonna go over their names, right? Like I talked to you guys about the best names I'm looking at coming this week, right? Make your thesis among those names because they have that higher time frame potential. Mark your levels and then have a good risk reward, and you guys should be fine, right? And yeah, I mean this week does look pretty good, right? We do have momentum on SPY. Let me actually just check real quick, right? So SPY higher time frame is bullish. So even though this week is looking kind of slower news wise, earnings wise, right? So we are on all-time highs or near all-time highs on SPY, right? So we expect QQ to start showing some bullish price action and also sweeping out liquidity at these highs, right? We want to see QQ also now break all-time highs as well. So now let's see if QQ can. If QQ can, then I expect tech to also show bullish price action, and then those scenarios I talked about earlier should play out pretty perfectly, right? So yeah, that is pretty much the weekly outlook. I mean, I pretty much went over those like what 5 steps I was looking at: MU, SNDK, AMD, Nvidia, and then Tesla. So 6, yeah, 5. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just mark your levels, understand what's bullish and bearish in the higher time frame, showing relative strength, relative weakness, and then just look at price action intraday, and you guys should be fine, right? We're not doing anything complicated, right? If you're patient, like these steps play out pretty nicely. Guys, if you watch my last week's weekly outlook, right, like it literally played pretty perfectly, like especially on Microsoft, right? Especially on names that are showing relative strength, right? Those levels play out beautifully because those are areas of strong buying and selling, right? We're not pulling these levels out of our ass, right? These are actual levels, right? Actual areas that are areas that institutions use. So we want to see strong buying and selling, right? That's why when people ask me, right, why don't you use volume profile? Why don't you use GEX? It's all the same shit, right? We all expect strong buying and selling at those levels, right? If you look at those, like the volume profile, the GEX, like those where it shows like strong limit orders or strong like areas or strong options movement. I don't know specifically what it is, right? I guarantee there's gonna be big spikes or big I forgot what it's called, but big delta or something at those exact same levels that we're trading. So again, it's all the same thing. So learn your own style and simplify your trading. That's honestly the best kind of advice anyone can give you, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this recap. Again, I already said this, but don't forget to like and subscribe, and then comment down below, and then join Discord down below, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.